Well, I have the pleasure of interviewing RT Now Telerespiratory therapist Chris Thebeau. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great.
Great. Let's jump right in. So tell me, first of all, how long have you been a respiratory therapist, and what has your focus been in your career?
I've been a respiratory therapist for 10 years now. Um, my big focus now has been critical care and floor therapy, but I also have had lots of experience with neonates and pediatrics.
Great. Why respiratory care? What drew you to this profession?
I picked respiratory care because I really wanted to help people and make a difference. It actually came to me from a friend of mine who was going to school for respiratory, and he was getting ready to graduate, and he convinced me this was the way to go.
Oh, cool. That's great. And how do you, now that you've been doing telerespiratory care, how have you seen it, or how do you believe it can benefit patients?
Telerespiratory puts RTs in the right place at the right time, and it gives us a chance to use our skills to help people everywhere.
Awesome. What attracted you to RT Now?
Well, I always thought telehealth was the future in healthcare, and when I saw the chance to be a telerespiratory therapist for RT Now, that I jumped at the chance.
That's great. Well, we're glad you did. Um, Without revealing, of course, any personal health information, have you had any specific encounters that have proven this concept of telerespiratory care to you personally?
Yeah, I've seen patients at their worst, and with with telerespiratory, it gives us a chance to use our knowledge and skills to make a big difference for them and for the team. The other day, I helped to wean a COVID patient back down to room air, and they were on their way out the door home. That just a week and a half earlier, I had to help them, with life-saving ventilation support.
That's great. That was the same patient too?
Yes.
That's amazing. That's great. What are some of the obstacles you've seen between connecting patients and respiratory therapists? And with that question, I'm not necessarily talking just respiratory care, but in general in healthcare, what do you see as obstacles between you and patients?
Distance, money.
Yeah,
There's a shortage of RTs to be everywhere all the time. And that's true for all healthcare professions. When you get out into the rural areas, there's just not enough staff to take care of everybody. That's the one great thing about being an RT Now agent, because I can be everywhere.
that's great. It does at least take care of that space or time issue. So, you know, imagine that you mentioned the money aspect as well. That is always a big issue. Um, Respiratory therapists can't bill for their services without, physicians signing off in most cases, and it's kind of a problem that at some point in time will need to be reckoned with. So let's assume for a second, though, that that was put to the side and there was no billing issues, and you could actually reach out to a patient, or they could reach out to you whenever they want. What do you imagine the world would look like?
There would be an RT everywhere one's needed. We'd be able to help everyone who needs it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I I think a lot about if there was a Amazon for respiratory therapists, if like you could find highly rated respiratory therapists and just connect with them for a consultation or look at different plans people have come up with to help on your disease. And um, it's a very interesting future to consider, if that important billing part of it can be mitigated. So when you're not, is there anything else you want to say about respiratory care or telerespiratory care that's has not been asked yet?
I am so glad I picked this field, and I am happy to do what I do every day.
As was the transition from being a boots on the ground respiratory therapist to, and I know you're still doing that, but to the telerespiratory world, was that difficult? Was it easy?
No, it was really easy for me. I found that I just jumped right in running.
Awesome. And when you're not empowering respiratory care, what are you doing?
Here lately, I've been working on my house a lot, rehabbing. I spend a lot of time here with the family, and I've spent a lot of time searching for the boat of my dreams.
Boat of your dreams?
Yes,
Oh, that's great. Well, I hope you find it.
almost there.
Great. Well, hey, thanks for everything you do, Chris. Thanks for empowering respiratory care with us, and keep up the good work. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.